Anyone got anything to say about last time? That any fitness discoveries you've made in between? We were doing legs, I think, last time, weren't we? Doing legs. Okay, Micah, yeah.
Well, it's not directly connected to what we did, but to the leg work in general. I'm working with this for quite a while now, and I realized that it's a personal issue that I have when I'm strongly doing this, about the
Screwing the
back
ankle.
iliac spine, pulling to the front, screwing the ankle and all that, and walking, running like that, and also going into lunge like that, then I have really pain around the whole iliac crest the following days. I don't know if it's kind of muscle pain, or it feels like it's really bone, like the medius, gluteus medius, kind of the top of the gluteus medius, where it's attaching to the iliac crest at the side. And it's not, I mean, I can live with that. It's not really, really bad, but it's happening especially when I'm activating it strongly. So just something I observe. I don't know if someone else is observing that.
Well, somebody else gets pain in their sacroiliac joints, and that's in a slightly different place.
It's no, that's not where I feel.
But yours is at the top of the top of the crest.
It's really like it goes round. It's this area here.
Yes, the whole.
And I'm doing, and I'm doing easy stretches afterwards, and it's okay, but it's just kind of feels really triggered. And I think it's where the spiral, the double helix spiral goes along, where the iliotibial tract goes across the iliac crest. So the whole line, this is where it crosses kind of, and then it becomes the inner obliques, outer obliques, and so on. Yeah, maybe it's something really personal, but I thought I bring it up to maybe someone else's.
Well, I'm always interested to hear. I mean, I think there's, we've all got different pulls and imbalances, haven't we? And so many of us have various problems around the hip joint at some point. And I guess if one really changes something, somewhere is going to can often be the weak link that that then goes ouch. And
I mean, I really feel the lower back, and this whole sacrum area opening by this oppositional pull from the post. Always forget the names. The iliac, not anterior iliac spine, but the posterior iliac spine, pulling it round to the front. I really feel this opening, and it's activating something, not only the transversus, but it's activating something else around the iliac crest at the sides. And then going down the legs, coming to the screwing the ankle thing. And it's connected to what we did last time, because there we were only working with this, activating the legs like that.
And was it bad after that?
I can't quite remember. It was the same. It wasn't worse or better or anything.
It didn't trigger it particularly. No. Okay. Keep watching it. Keep posting me what's happening. But no, nobody else has reported that one. So as I say, there's very little that I'm hearing with these new pulls. The person with the sacroiliac problem, that was there already. So it wasn't. I haven't heard of a problem created by these ones. So but I'll keep watching this space, as it were. Is this because this wasn't happening to you when you were using the pulls going in the other direction?
No.
So it's only started since you started doing the pulls that way around.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, other things were being triggered by the other way around. So, I mean, I definitely feel much more connected to the base by pulling it back to the front. And I don't feel so much contracted in the whole rectus, but much more stable. So it's something else being activated more outside the hips, outside the pelvis. Maybe I'm pulling too strong, or I don't know. Maybe you just need time, like with the knee. My knee was hurting for, I don't know, for 5 months,
Yes.
which is gone now. So maybe it's another part of this helix which now has to come hurt and go again.
If it's not excruciating and it's okay to stay with it, I mean, hopefully it will. It's a question of whether something is, because I wouldn't have thought it's a ligament that's sort of under stress there. It's something that's just being, I don't know, but it's only on one side, is it?
No, it's on both sides.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Keep telling us about it. Keep telling us how it goes. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else want to share anything, Hannes?
I want to quote a colleague. He said, Alexander technique is a very painful business.
Well, you know, Jando would, you know, if you get pain in a lesson with Jando, he just says, right, just do it harder. More or less. I mean, he's totally unsympathetic about pain. He says something's being stretched, something's being woken up. Get your head around it. I try to be a little bit more sympathetic than that. Yeah, okay. We are activating things and changing things, and it creates, as we know, good pains, bad pains. Let's we're going to do the upper body today, and we're going to come back to we're going to do core work as part of it. So let's play. I want to stand up. So let's just start with spatial awareness. Just letting yourself see. Just keeping the eyes moving. And engaging and seeing the colors and the textures. Being aware of the space between you and what you're seeing from the back of the head, so that you are in relationship to what you're seeing across the space. Just being aware of yourself breathing. One doesn't have to be entirely static. We're letting our heads move. Just let one knee come out and one foot come out as well, so that we perhaps turn with this. We're getting that activation through the whole body. So that when the breathing, we notice the breathing, maybe we notice the breathing straight away through the lower body, through the pelvic floor, because we're already waking up that connection to the legs and the lower back and the pelvis. Letting the long out breath happen and the in breath just coming by itself. Being aware of it, widening the pelvic floor. And let's just start waking up the pulls to the whole system. So we're going to think. The PSAS round to the ASAS. Being aware that that invites the screwing of the ankle. And it also widens across the back of the hips so that that in itself activates the counter rotation of the thighs. So just give that one a 3 on its own for start. Oh yes, and that one of course then opens the costal arch as well, and it opens across the back of the armpits. So let's just give that one a 3 before we do anything else. 1, 2, 3. And then just adding in that we've got the PSAS to ASAS, we've got the screw in the ankle, which is opening all the leg spirals, it's opening all the torso, and we've got the backs of the knees to the sitting bones, to the top of the sternum, and the pubicoccygeals forward. So let's just give all that a 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to add in that the backs of the armpits are coming up from the sacrum, which is going down. So that's coming up and away, and that's coming downwards. And from that, the top of the sternum comes forwards. So let's just add in that into our. And so what we're building up here is that the pulls are coming up out of the base. This is the primary opening part. And we don't, because it would be very tempting to pull up the armpits up out of it, and then we pull up. Whereas if we keep this connection to the lower body and the legs as we do this, then we get much more of a sort of a growing up of the body rather than a pulling up of the body, if you get the difference. Let's just give that one a 3. 1, 2, 3. And then let's also add in that T8 is coming up from the sacrum, and that the tops of the shoulders are coming forwards from T8. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now we do the whole sequence looking in the video. So we've got, I pulled the posterior iliac spines around to the anterior iliac spines. And that screws the ankles and counter rotates the thighs. And it also brings the costal arch out and round, and it also brings the ribs at the back of the armpit out and round. I think the backs of the knees to the sitting bones to the top of the sternum. I think the pubicoccygeals gently forwards. I think the sacrum to T8 and forwards to the front of the shoulders, and sacrum up to the ribs at the back of the armpits and forwards to the top of the sternum. Now let's just see what happens. 1, 2, 3. And again, if you want, 1, 2, 3. So that top of the sternum is really coming up. The chest is being deepened and widened and lifted, but without coming up off the base. So you might be aware of, just like the pelvis is all opening like a flower with the breath, so also is the front and the back of the chest, and even the middle here. This might be all breathing like flowers. Okay, everybody okay so far? Yeah. So let's, if you think your fingers long and send your fingers away, and then bring the elbows back in the other direction and finding that antagonistic pull between the fingertips and the elbows. And then the same on the other hand as well, fingertips lengthening away. And then the elbow coming back, that sense of the fingers leading out and the elbow coming back. And now we're going to take that into a sort of dance movement that I call grape picking. So where instead of going hip lifting on the same side, as the hand stretches up, that knee actually drops down. So you get a drop down the hip, the knee on that side. That's it. And then that elbow leads back and the other one comes up. So you're just picking your grapes on each side. So you've got a lovely delicate movement of the hands going on, picking your grapes. And you're getting this nice stretch up the side of the body. And then we could pick grapes that in a sort of arc forwards. And as you're doing this, you can be thinking about this up and back here so that we get a gentle bend forwards from the lower body as you pick your grapes down. And you've got this antagonistic action of the lower arms, so the elbows are moving against the fingertips, and we can take them till you're almost picking grapes off the ground, and then take it up again. And just finding that backwards and forwards of the hips, because so this is also giving a nice stretch to the hip joints. There. Everybody seems to be finding that. And then you can also take your grapes to the side, as Hannes is doing. That's it. So you can take grapes to the side, and you get a nice side stretch with this. And you get this. So if you be aware of the elbows moving, then there's a sense that, because otherwise the arm can pull the torso, but if you have a sense that the elbow is opposing it, it doesn't throw the torso off balance. And then we can also go across the body. Up and down. Again, picking your grapes, being aware of your elbows so that the torso is not imbalanced by the arm movement. Be aware of the difference. If you lose the sense of the elbow and you just go from the shoulder, can you feel how it reaches the whole torso out of balance? Whereas if you keep the sense of the elbow as where the lower arm is moving from, then the torso stays much more online. Right down with this one. Taking the legs to either side so that you're picking them from by your toes. And then coming up again. Great. Okay. Everybody okay with that one? Now let's do some ulnar deviation. So we've got just sort of working all the arm stretches into little games. So we've got the elbows going down and out away from the top of the sternum coming up. So this elbow coming down away from top of sternum coming up. And then thumb coming down and in from top of sternum coming up. Little finger coming out from top of sternum coming up. All three together, and then see if you can send those down strongly. Keep all these pulls going that we were doing before, and does it take you on your toes? So the arms going down helps the body come up. So it's the rolling down of the, if you let the shoulders go back, it doesn't work. It's this rolling down of the shoulders, rolling forwards of the shoulders that seems to help take one up in the air while staying back. That's it, that's nice. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to get a chair. And we've been getting, we did L-sit a few weeks ago and it was too hard. So somebody suggested the variation, didn't they, of sort of finding this core coming back and up from which the leg can come up. So do you remember this? Are you okay to go straight into this? We haven't sort of woken up the core first, but just, we did a bit in the great picking. So just thinking that back and up of the psoas, that smoothie sucking in, and that just enables the leg. That's it. So we're engaging the psoas to bring the leg up in the air. And that's it. And take it down as slowly as you take it up. It's very easy to drop the leg down. Take it down as slowly as it comes up. We're doing a few on each side. That's it. I wonder how Aida is today, and Anadora. They both said they'd be here. Okay. So everybody okay with that one? So let's try kneeling back slightly on your chair. You're right on the edge of your chair. And then you're going to bring your legs up. And now take your legs down, but don't let them touch on the ground, and then bring them in again. And if this is too tough, then just do a small movement. So just do the biggest movement that you can, so that you're keeping that engagement. So it's just, if you strain, you'll just tense the front muscles. It really is about getting these PSAs to ASAs, keeping going round, and that will help the movement happen, so that you really are doing this from the core and not just straining the tummy muscles. Hannes, do you get this? Or are you not working it out?
Are you against the back of the chair?
No.
With your back?
No.
You're
no,
touching the chair with your back?
No, I'm not. But if you need to, go ahead. If you need to touch the back of the chair, then do it. But if you can do it without, you really are just supporting yourself between the psoas and the back muscles. Sarah, you're doing lovely dramatic things there. Are you touching the back of the chair, Sarah, or not? No? No, great. No, he said, you'd spot the yoga teacher. It's beautiful. That's it. So when we take them out slowly, that's it, and bring them back again. But to say, if you're struggling, Hannes, then just do a small movement. Just do it from there to start with. I mean, it's pretty tough work, this one. That's it. You're all doing brilliantly. Ah, okay, enough. So that's prelude. Goldie used to get me lifting back in the chair. It was one of the things they used to do a lot on the first training course. And it's not as straightforward as it might be, because I mean, it looks straightforward. You can just put your arms down and give yourself a press and lift yourself back. And you can see I'm doing all sorts of sort of things with my torso and my shoulders. And for her, it was a very clean movement. So sit right on the edge of your chairs. So come right to the edge of the chair for this, with your feet on the ground. And let's just bring the mat under the chair. And so you're engage your legs so that we're working the pies. The legs are engaged as we did the other week, and the upper body as well. Let's do the ulnar deviation we've just done, where the sternum comes up and the elbows come down. So we really activate the length of the arms, and we've activated the ribs at the back of the armpit coming up. So we've activated everything. Now, very gently, without losing that activation, bring one hand so that the knuckles will rest on the side of the chair, and then the same with the other one. And keep it right underneath you, Kazuyuki. Don't let it go too far back. It's just beside you on the chair. There's not much room. And then you're going to send those hands down as you send the feet down. And see if you can gently lift yourself back. So you really so it's really working the arms away from torso. And there's a core activation going on here.
My bum is just as wide as a chair, so maybe I need a bigger chair.
Yes. It's tricky, this sort of thing. Can you feel the difference, everyone else, when you engage the arms in this way than if you just sort of do it? It's very clean on the torso. There's no distortion of the shoulder blade, and the head is just, the torso is just able to stream up. That's it. So there's a bit of a bump going on, Marie. See if you can lower it as smoothly as you. That's it. Yeah, how's that? That's quite an elegant movement. Anyone like to comment on this one?
I run into my short arm challenge with this sort of exercise.
Well, I always used to tell Goldie that my arms weren't long enough and she wouldn't have anything of it. It's just, of course your arms are long enough. And I really didn't think they were, particularly if there was a slight cushion on the chair. So my hands were actually lower than my bum. But somehow it did work. So see if you can get your head around it. I mean, maybe that your arms genuinely too short, but
yeah, with my arms straight, I don't reach the seat.
Yeah.
Like if I put my knuckles, they barely touch the seat.
Right.
With my arms totally straight, they're already straight, so I have nowhere to go.
Yes, I don't know what Miss Goldie.
Do you? Question: do you? Is it necessary to put the full palms on the chair, or can you? This one.
Just putting that little bit there is all I'm doing.
Yeah, so your hand isn't flat on the chair, because then it's really not working.
Oh, absolutely. No, it's just that ridge of the knuckles. That's all you're putting onto the chair.
Mm-hmm.
I have more room. I'm using this like that on the chair.
What, like the two fingers?
The fingers or one finger like that.
Why
That gives me more room on my chair around my behind.
I couldn't do that. I'm just using the knuckles. How are you doing, Hannes?
Coming backwards, just fine, but forwards, I missed your instructions on the.
Forward is much harder. Backwards is easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very easy to sort of start you know, doing things with the torso. It's
So in forward, in backwards, it's the legs bring me back naturally.
yes, they do, don't they? And what we're doing with the arms is lifting to make the space.
Yes.
Yes, but what we're not doing is any distortion of the shoulder and the neck.
And in moving forward, which part of the body is giving the thrust forward? The
Wow.
arm.
It's the arms.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, it's 30 years since I did this with Goldie, and I can't entirely guarantee I'm getting it right, but it was something like this. And I certainly remember how hard it was at the time because I hadn't got the coordination. Micah, yeah.
I mean, what I like about it is that the whole head neck area stays completely quiet,
That's it.
and by that, forces can work more precise or something.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. Yes, that's what we're after. Yeah, and it's so easy just to sort of, you know, do all sorts of things at this end.
Yeah.
And it's likewise, there's nothing sort of going on at this end either. It's just the torso is very much just rooted. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, that's just a play. Hannes.
I discovered from going backwards as I'm with my hands on the chair and I just tilt forward with the whole back. And then I push down my hands.
Yes, well, that's what we did in the first Goldie, in one of the first Goldie ones, didn't we? We did how to move back on the chair so that you could actually.
But I mean for going forward.
Yes, we tipped forwards and then did that, didn't we? I think.
Yeah, and forwards if I
And that
just go a bit forward and then I straighten my arms.
Yes, and that of course is a lot easier.
Yes.
That isn't what Goldie did with me.
Okay.
She did it straight. Because she would be there pulling my head like mad towards the ceiling to invite me to leave my hands to head alone. So it's as if you've got somebody's hand strongly on your head, pulling you straight up in the air, but your arms, her instruction was straighten your arms. It was the arms that she saw as doing the biz. And the rest just, yeah.
I feel that when the legs are really activated, then the arms don't have to work so hard.
Yeah.
Then it's much easier for the arms. Then it's coming from right from the ground.
Absolutely. That's why I said activate the legs first.
Yeah.
Because if you activate the legs and activate the torso and activate the arms, then it is, you say, it's much less work. But on the other hand, I could just do all the pressing from the legs and that wouldn't be the same. So it's a balance, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The arms are doing the work, but the legs and the torso are carrying some of the tone. I mean, this is one of the reasons I think, you know, they did a lot more physical work on that first training course when they were coming onto the toes as we've just done, and this one, and hands on back of chair. They're actually highly physical, strong procedures. You can't just wuss out into a relaxed semi-supine and then do this. You can't do it. There was real work going on. Kazuki.
Penelope, this is a kangaroo with the help of hand.
A kangaroo?
Kangaroo. A McDonald-based teacher doing this.
Oh, yes. So that's a kangaroo, is it? Okay.
And with hand push.
With the hand, yes.
Ah.
Yes, but we're using the hands as well. But yes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but we don't just want it to be a sort of a hop and it's a very controlled movement.
Mm-hmm.
Everything Goldie did was completely controlled.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the coordination of all the parts together,
Yes.
legs and backs, and the work on the torso.
Yes, it really is, isn't it? Everything is working together. We'll do hands on back of chair again in a minute, which of course is also a total coordination. But get this one right, and it is a total coordination, like hands on back of chair. And it is slowly up, slowly down. There is no point at which the body drops. There's no point at which it collapses. That's right. So make sure you're getting the support through the torso, Kazuyuki. As you lower the arms, don't let the torso go saggy. It's to keep everything going up. That's better. So everything stays going up. As you land on the chair, everything still stays going up. So do it one more time, Kazuyuki, through the arms. Do it through the arms. The arms are doing the work. I still think you're doing more with the legs. Just the side, just use this on the chair, Kazuyuki. Just use that on the chair. That's it. So not your hands that way, but your hands to the side. So the side of that's it. Yes, there we go, like that. Now, if you just send your arms long at that point, what happens? That's better, but very controlled. Okay, good. So everybody can play with that one in their own time. And yeah, so let's come to hands on back of chair. Just to complete our trilogy of first generation procedures. I'm going to change chairs. We've all done this before in this way. So we're going to just again give a 3 of all the pulls. I'll just let Hannes come back. So let's just start by thinking all the pulls. P.S. just not just looking at yourself or looking at me in the screen. PSAS round to ASAS, which allows the ankles to screw. Just see it out. Don't model it on your own body now. See it out on the screen. PSAS to ASAS to let the ankles screw. Yes, that's a better chair, Micah. To let the hips counter rotate, the thighs counter rotate. To let the ribs, costal arch come round and the backs of the armpits come round, widen and come forwards. And we pull the backs of the knees up to the sitting bones, up to the top of the sacrum. Pubicoccygeals gently forwards. Pulling the T8 up from the sacrum. And the front of the shoulder comes forwards and away from T8. And the ribs at the back of the armpits come up and away from the sacrum, and the top of the sternum comes forwards and up from there. And let's just give all that a 3 and see what happens. 1, 2, 3, letting it grow up out of the base. And we'll do it again, and this time add the arms in. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then we're just going to come into a monkey. So you might do that by giving yourself another 3. So the PSAS is coming round to pull you back into that monkey. So I need to be in front of my chair now. We're coming into this monkey, and then letting the fingertips extend of one hand, letting the hand come out to the side. And then the elbow stays where it is, but the hand comes across. And then ulnar deviation, so that the thumb points down and the thumb then leads that lower arm onto the back of the chair. But of course, the elbow stays back and the back of the armpit stays back. And then the fingers close around the top of the chair. And then the same on the other side. Lengthen the fingers away down. Take the hand out to the side. Let the elbow stay where it is, but the hand comes across the body. Ulnar deviation so that the thumb points down. Let the thumb lead that lower arm onto the chair and let the fingers close around in a beak. And then let's, now we've got there, give the whole thing a 3. 1, 2, 3. You're just engaging everything. And then you can send your chair away and pull it towards you. And then when you're ready, just swivel it round and keeping everything engaged, give yourself another 3, and we're going to lift the chair and just wave it above our heads a moment and then put it down again. So, how was it keeping the tone? My chair is quite heavy and I'm aware that it does sound fine for a while, and after a while I start losing the tone. So, yeah, do you want to do that one again, or are you okay? We'll leave it. Do it one more time, perhaps. What do you think? Go again? Who's voting to go again? Yeah, okay. So, PSAS to ASAS, and that screws the ankle, and it opens the whole torso up from the sitting bone, the backs of the knees to the sitting bones, the top of the sacrum, and T8 up from sacrum forwards to front of shoulder, sacrum to ribs at back of armpit, and forwards to top of sternum, and down to the elbows and the hands. And 1, 2, 3. I hope you're okay with that shortened instructions. And then let's take another 3 to go into monkey. 1, 2, 3. Hand comes out to the side, fingers lengthen out to the side. Elbow stays where it is. Hand comes across. Ulnar deviation, and the thumb leads onto the chair, and then the fingers close around. Fingers of the other hand lengthen out to the side, elbow stays where it is, hand comes back, ulnar deviation, thumb leads, close around. And just breathe a moment and give another 3. 1, 2, 3. So we get these lovely oppositions. The elbows are pulling away from the wrists. The elbows are also pulling away from the backs of the armpits. They're all pulling away from the sacrum. The knees are pulling away from the sacrum. And we've got all these lovely oppositions going on. And then you can take your chair for a little dance. And then when you're ready, swivel your chair around. Keep everything engaged. Maybe give yourself another 3. 1, 2, 3 as you pick it up, and then take your chair for a dance. And then put it down again. Okay. Any comments on that one? Mary.
I noticed as soon as I started moving my chair around, My arm's completely disengaged. I just forgot about it all.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite hard to keep that all going. And what I'm aware of is that I think McDonald and Barlow and Goldie, who were on that first training course, they must have done so much hands on back of chair that their arms just never disengaged. They could go into strong movements with you know, your neck, and they kept that engagement. I suspect we all need to do an awful lot more hands on back of chair. They probably did it every day for years. And yeah, we don't. So let's take it into shoulder presses against the wall. So we've got the same engagement, and we're going to just, which wall can you see most easily? That one probably, can't you? So if I just, I'm standing arms width from the wall, and now I'm going to just engage that elbow away from back of arms, back of armpits away from elbow, and top of sternum also away from back of armpits, and then do a press up, as it were, onto the wall. And my arms, apparently the right angle is to take the arms at 45 degrees, not straight out and not straight down. 45 degrees apparently is the right way for a press up. Kiss your forehead on the wall and come up again as slowly. So you're engaging slowly down and slowly back again. And of course the PSAS is still coming around to the ASAS. You've still got that whole engagement of the torso. It's still screwing the ankles. It's still engaging the whole frame as you do this. And keeping this. But the last little nugget is that if you think of your thumbs sliding towards each other, they're not, but if you think of your thumbs sliding towards each other, it will also help engage the inner arm lines as well as the outer arm lines. So just as if you're pushing your hands towards each other, but they're not. But they're not moving. Just do 10 or whatever you like, whatever's comfortable. Keep it nice and slow throughout the movement. Don't let any part of the movement speed up. And keep that engagement going. All the way up and all the way down and all the way up again. And you could breathe in as you go down towards the wall, and then out as you push back from the wall, because that's the harder movement. And so it's good to do the out breath on the movement which actually involves more force. Okay, how are you doing? That's it. And keep it working. So at no point is the movement explosive. It's totally smooth, Kazuyuki. Slow into the wall and then slow out. There's no explosive part of the movement. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Micah.
The elbows slightly out, right?
Yes,
Not parallel,
that's
slightly
right.
out.
45 degrees.
Okay, that's what you mean with 45.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that makes sense, does it? Does that feel, so the fingers are pointing straight forwards,
Yeah.
but the elbows are at 45 degrees. That comes from Nancy Romita. She says
From
that
what?
Nancy Romita, who did the yoga and functional awareness book, she's an anatomist, and she said that's the angle at which you best support well, I forget why, but it engages everything in the right way and doesn't strain things. So
It's the same that we do when with hands on the back of the chair and how we move things. We wouldn't do it like that, right?
exactly, it's the same, isn't it? Yes, it's exactly the same position. And then it's the same for press-ups on the floor. Yeah.
Can you say the name again? Nancy what?
Romita, Romita. Yeah.
Okay.
This is her book. Yeah.
Okay.
You know it, Sarah, don't you? I think you don't. All right, okay. Maybe it's the other Sarah who did. Let's do some door frame pull-ins on the way. So it's the same principle, but we're doing pulls instead of pushes. Have you got a door frame that you can? So you're just going to support back. And then come back again. And again, we're not slopping it. We're making a very slow, deliberate movement. Yes, you'll be better off on the door handle. So stand right close to it. Stand close in. Stand as close in as you can get. And then find your pulls again. Just to balance everything up, finding that PSS, ASS, screw the ankle, bringing those shoulders forward because we're against the door frame. And so it doesn't feel so obvious to do that. And then keeping that going as you come back. So we're also, of course, working the grip strength here because you might have your fingertips. So now we're doing the in-breath to come back and the out-breath to come forwards. So we're not letting the torso, the upper torso fall back, which would be so easy to do in this. It would be so easy to let the upper torso come back. And then sort of nothing much happens. But I found it's a very different movement if you keep the upper torso forwards while doing this. What's the difference? I think it keeps the serratus anterior engaged for a start when one keeps the top of the torso forwards. Breath is right through then into the legs. And the out breath, where the out breath is coming right through from the legs and helping the whole thing come up. Okay. What are we doing? So let's do some scapular push-ups where we so I'm going to be in a plank. I forget whether we've done this one before. And I'm going to be in a plank and I'm going to let my torso sink down between my shoulder blades. And then I'm going to really work those rhomboids and serratus anterior, then to send the torso up away from the hands as high as possible. And then again, sink it right down, but I'm not going to let the legs, the hips sink. The hips can stay back, but the upper body sinks and then comes right up again as high as possible. Okay. That's it. So if you're straining on for the full plank, you could also do it on your knees. But the full plank, of course, is great if you can do it. And if you can do 10 of them, then that's great. So again, see if you can engage the whole hand on the ground. Turn the elbows slightly backwards on this one. If the elbows are too much out to the side, again, it's good, I think, on this one to turn the elbows to the back. So we're really working all those muscles of the back in extension. Really working on those scapular muscles in extension. See if you can get the knuckles of the hands onto the ground. The heel of the hand is taking a lot of pressure. See if you can take it right through into the knuckles and the fingers as well. Okay. Am I wearing you out, or is this okay? Okay. And now let's do what we were doing last time, I think it was at the time before. And for this, you'll want to be on the slidey surface of seeing if you can get in plank, but tucking the toes under and now pulling in with the core and seeing how high you can come. And then if you want to do the slide through, of course, into that one you can. But what we're just going to work is this initial movement of that. So let's just do that bit. So you're supporting your upper arms as best as you can, as we've just done, and then pulling in from the core. That's it, to slide the legs in. And just, we're not going to do the slide through, we're just going to do that pull in from the core of the legs. And it can be a small movement or a big movement, whatever works for you.
If it really hurts my, like the knuckles of my foot, am I putting too much weight? Is there something that I can think of? It really hurts, like on this part of my foot. Like it's, you know, I have a very flexible foot this way, but then I have these little bones here and it really hurts.
Oh, I mean, have you got socks on?
Yes, I even have my big slippers. and I'm trying it with a little sliding thing.
But this little slidey pad, yes. I don't know, Sarah. I do know that Katie Bowman says, you know, do this one as well, because we do a lot of, I mean, I've done a lot of that foot flexing, but she says do that one as well. And it's one I hadn't particularly done, but it's really stretching the extensors of the feet.
Yeah, I feel it like on the bones, not, you know, it doesn't, like, that's not a difficult stretch in my particular case, but it's just on the bones. And I'm thinking, am I putting too much weight there?
Well, there is a lot of weight at this point on this. There is a lot of weight. So just try rotating try rotating your legs a bit to see whether it's a comfortable angle. But I mean, the fact is there is a lot of weight on the body at that point. So if this one isn't for you, that's okay too. I mean, you can certainly do it beautifully. Yeah.
Yeah, my little bones hurt.
So, yeah. I mean, it's not a movement we would perform in everyday life, is it? But I'm guessing it is the start to getting up into, you know, when people go into handstand and they just slide their legs in and then take them up into the air. And I'm presuming, I suddenly realized last night, that's the start of this movement. So it's really using the core to bring the legs right underneath you. And I guess the more you take it onto the arms, the more the weight actually really starts to come into the arms. Then, I mean, if I do it from here, it sort of feels heavy on the legs. But if I really bring it up into the arms here, then it sort of gets lighter on the feet. I don't know whether that's true for you, but it's just.
I'm gonna give it a rest because last time I tried it, they were a little sore for until the next day.
Yeah, well, we won't do any more of it. It's just.
But it's one of my dreams to be able to come up to a handstand like that.
Yes, yes. So let's. How's everybody else doing with this one? Can you find it? And so what are we? Let's do it into headstand because it's the same movement, but of course it's not as heavy on the head. I'm going to just find something to cushion my head because we've been working with this. With this, we're working the same movement, aren't we? It's this L sit. So in headstand, so I'm going to just cushion my head, because otherwise the head gets sore. And I'm going to do the same movement to get up there. I'm going to pull it in from the core. Now I can't yet go up with straight, but I'm going to see if I can pull it in to the point where I can tuck. And yesterday I managed to find it. Let's try again. Not quite. So the goal is to pull into the point where you can actually get the tuck. I'm not quite getting it tonight. And again, can you then do the control down, which that wasn't. So last night, when I was practicing for this, I did it beautifully. So that's it. That's beautiful, Sarah. And you can go up with straight legs. That's lovely. Yeah. So do it against a wall. So that's it. And then again, if you can come down slowly, which Sarah is demonstrating beautifully. That's it, Mary. Lovely. And then tuck the legs if you need to, or if you can do it straight legs, then do. That's it. That's right. Tuck them in and up you go. That's it. But keep that core engaged. Keep the core engaged. Keep the core engaged. One thinks of headstand as about, I don't know, heads or something, but actually it's all about the core. Mike, are you okay?
Yeah, I don't get it.
What don't you get?
I don't know. There's a carpet here and I don't find the slide today somehow. I don't know. I'll try it. I'll work on it. It's one of my dreams too, to come up like that.
Yes. I mean, look at Sarah. She's just doing it beautifully there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's gorgeous. This is what we're after, is what Sarah's doing. Yes. And I have in the past done it. And I say I was better last night. But sometimes I wear myself out practicing for you guys. I can't do it on the day. That's it. Oh, beautiful, Sarah. Yeah, gorgeous. And that way doesn't hurt your feet, I guess, does it? No, because there's not so much weight on it from the headstand position as there is from the full plank.
So my little tip for that is how important it's the placement of the pelvis.
Yeah.
There's a big leverage that the pelvis does. That's how I feel it. And that sort of brings the weight, like it feels as if I put it up on a shelf instead of kind of straining to hold everything.
Yeah.
And then there's this placement that just feels very steady.
Where you draw in the pelvis, where you draw the pelvis
Yes.
to, it feels like it's on a shelf.
Yes.
I'm going to try that again, see if I can find out what it is.
So perhaps, I mean, it's core and also focusing on that pelvis coming back, further back than you think, further back than you think. You have the wall, so you won't fall. There you go. That's it.
And up we go.
Yes.
I wasn't bringing it far enough back.
To control the coming down, bring the pelvis back think of bringing the pelvis back towards the wall, and that'll allow.
Which is
Yeah.
makes perfect sense in terms of gravity.
Yeah.
Back to, yeah, lovely. Yay, thank you. Yeah. Anyone else want another go at that?
Next time.
Absolutely not.
But you know, there's people that can do that on handstand. That's what I want to do.
That's what would be very nice, isn't it? But to do that, we need this. We need really to work this movement. So the other very simple way of working it is simply go down into the forward bend, go forwards into plank, and then tiptoe it back in again. Because what I notice is that the body just comes up from there.
Yes.
So you're coming up into a going down into a forward bend. So we're doing this, bringing the hands up, and then really bringing the pelvis up and back to come into your flat back and to come down into the forward bend. And when we get to the forward bend, actually, before we go into plank, let's just do some spitties where we take the head out and come back towards the hands come up, and we're just bringing the back up again. And then again, do this pulling up from underneath, engage the core, and then go down again. And then again, just send the head out. You get this lovely extension vertebra by vertebra coming up back into the flat back. And then again, engage that psoas, engage the PSAS round to the ASAS, and again fold over. And I don't know about you, but every time I do this movement, I get a little bit lower. And then again, engaging psoas, engaging the PSAS, and round one comes. I'm just doing that a few times. Okay, and then when you're ready, walking forwards into plank, being aware of staying back in the hips. Don't just pour forwards onto the plank, but stay back in the hips, coming forwards into plank. And then once you're there, tiptoeing forwards. So the feet are on tiptoe, and you're just coming up on tiptoe as close into your hands as you can get. And then you'll find that when you lift your hands, you might just, your body just wants to spring up. Yeah, doesn't it? Yeah. How's that? So let's just try that against the, I'm just wondering whether if I tiptoe up to there and then kick. So let's do some handstand kicks. We're not actually going to go up to the wall, but you can do it against the wall. You're just going to practice the kick up. That's all. So I'll just do them side on for you to start with so you can see. And so you're just in this position, but make sure your hands and your shoulders are engaged and you're right over those wrists. And then just kick a little bit. So we're not kicking the whole way. You're just kicking a little bit. And then with the other leg, and I'm nowhere near as good on my left leg coming up as I am with my right leg, keeping the hands engaged. So you're starting, Murray, with one leg back and the other leg forwards in a sort of like an athlete on the blocks to start a race. That's it. And then from there, kick up with your, then kick the back leg up. That's it. Yes, that's right. Yes, that's the movement. That's it. And just do 10 or so of those. Just. Are you okay, Micah? Is this something you can do easily?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I mean it's okay to exercise it,
Yes.
but I cannot. Yeah, I would love to do it as well one day.
One day. Yes.
Mhm.
Is that familiar, Sarah? Yeah.
I haven't done it in a while.
Yes. Oh, yes. Hannah's had to go. So if you wanted to go right up to the wall, it's just, it really is getting right over those hands, isn't it? So that one can just get, but the more you've got that bend, the more you can then go straight up from that. And then one day, who knows, maybe we'll be able to do it in one go by bringing the feet in and that lovely controlled movement. But these are the preparatories. Okay, should we finish with a crow? Anyone remember crow? Just to get that balance. So your hands are flat on the floor. Your knees are jammed and bent above your elbows. And then again, it's engaging the core, engaging the shoulders, engaging all the pulls. Can we give ourselves a 3 in this position, I wonder? 1, 2, 3. Oh yes, so that wants to bring me up there. And again, I'm going to think about my hands, thinking together. Whoops! Just went on my head. How are we doing? That's it, Mari. Beautiful. Yeah, nice. That's it, Kazuki. Lovely. That's really nice. Yeah.
It's very easy to scrunch up the neck in this pose.
Yes.
Most people do it, and lift their chin up and the neck gets really scrunched up.
Yes. So do you think that the head should be down or the head should be looking forwards? Where do you think the head should be? Because one doesn't want to, yes, you don't want to put it right down, I don't think, do you?
No, it would make you fall.
Yes.
I think, as in anything, your head can practically be anywhere as long as you're aware of not
Yes, pulling it
heightening,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. Okay. We have a shake to finish. Let's just shake the hands. Shake the wrists. Shake the legs.
I'll see you. I have to finish.
And
Thank
you've
you.
got to go. Good to see you, Mari.
Bye.
See you next time. And shake the whole body. Oh, that's another one. Yes, sideways one. Okay, how was that?
I took a class with one of my teachers, yoga teachers recently. She did something on fascia and connective tissue. Mm-hmm. And so she reminded us of this axiom by Tom Myers, that it's not because we're getting older that we stop moving, but we get old. No, because we stop moving, we get older.
I like it. Yeah, yeah, very good. Yeah. Oh yeah, moving and elastic moving, particularly elastic moving is, you know, I think it's when you lose elasticity that you feel old. It's that lack of the spring.
Right.
And the more you
Yeah, she was talking a lot about connective tissue being primarily made up of water, but that what it needs to keep hydrated is movement. Movement is what keeps it hydrated.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, movement lubricates the joints, doesn't it? It's movement that actually creates the synovial fluid in the joints, but movement also, isn't this the new research that movement creates the water in the fascia itself?
Yes.
And if one's not moving, one's not lubricating not just the joints, but the whole of the fascial system.
Right.
Which of course is also then getting the immune system going and everything. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, I've been doing some more sort of fitnessy work, things like, you know, the push-ups on the wall and the pull-ups. Is that okay as well? That's, yeah. Good.
Absolutely.
Because it's, you know, we need the strength, we need the flexibility, we need it all together. Yeah.
I mean, I think one cliche about fitness and push-ups is that it's kind of a stiffening and a hardening, and it's like, but when we stabilize everything, it's not a contradiction at all. It's just, okay, we do this now, and it works. So, and it's just like I drink water, I drink juice, I don't know, and all of a sudden I drink coffee. No, bad example, but you know what I mean. It's like, yeah, the basic strength is there, so you can do whatever actually more easily. Hopefully.
The key difference is that we're not doing explosive movements into them, because when you do the explosive sort of in and out, you're using certain muscles to get the momentum up, which then means that you miss all the other muscles in between. And when you do the slow in and slow out, you're actually engaging the muscles responsively every step of the way. And so every muscle has to come into play appropriately and it's really waking up the neurology in a way that explosive movement doesn't. And so again, I've been reading quite a lot on fitness books, and the old style was like, you know, push down, push up, push down, push up. And that's far too fast. You want a minimum of 2 seconds down, and I think 3 to 5 is better. And, you know, 3 to 5 back up again, and working it with the breath. Say the in breath for the easy one and the out breath for the harder one. And then you get that slow engagement and the whole body, and you get, because you're embodied in it and you're focused in it, you're actually inviting everything to come into play, and it's much more interesting.
Absolutely. I mean, if you do it explosively, then you don't have the chance to bring your conscious along. No. It kind of it's a surprise every time you do it.
Well, I think that's what you're working towards. I mean, when the martial artists do their explosive movements, I suspect they've done enough slow to the extent that they then can bring the consciousness into the explosive movement. But when you start with the explosive movement, which is what people do in the West, you never find the consciousness there. So I think, you know, because we have done explosive movements, I mean, if we did a star jump, you know, this one today, you know, I can bring consciousness into that today that probably had I done that in a sloppy way 2 hours ago, without that build-up, I wouldn't be able to do. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if you agree there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's in anything you learn. When I'm practicing the cello, and I mean, you were talking about piano the other day, if I do it so slowly that I can taste every tone and see what I'm doing, and it's very hard to do it so slow, but if you do it so slow, then you can do it faster afterwards. It's the same process, I think, for the brain to learn something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. By the way, we have three classes left. Any requests of things you want to look at, by the way? Just to throw that one out there. And if you think of something, bang it to me in an email.
Yeah, I think about it.
Yeah, have a think if there's something you'd really like to look at with this. But I'm just keeping focusing the core because I think the whole engagement. Yeah. Okie doke. So see you all in 2 weeks' time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Righty-ho.
Thank you.
All the best.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.